Hello, everyone. It is I, Gibson Shamar from Hikati Media, here to talk to you about Josie and the Pussycats. No, I don't mean the 2001 movie. No, I don't mean the comics. I mean the animated series that a lot of us watched on Cartoon Network as children. As you may have noticed, we are scouring the world of Hanna-Barbera this time. It will be no different. We are ready to talk about every show we are going through from that era. And this time, it's a fan favorite show, Josie and the Pussycats. So, we will go through the character descriptions and then talk about the show itself. Firstly, obviously, there's Josie. Her full name is never disclosed in the show, but it is Josie McCoy. She is a redhead, my type of girl. She's the guitarist in the band that she calls Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah, she's the leader too. She's good at what she does, but often takes a back seat in the show. She has feelings for Alan, who we will get to, but her opportunities to get close to him in dire situations are foiled by Alexandra. Then we have Valerie. She's a girl who has the same hair color as me. She plays the tambourines. She's also the brains of the group. Well, when it comes to technological know-how. She usually reverse engineers or commandeers the bad guys' technology in order to save the group from the weird situations that they end up in. I was having a hard time remembering her name because they barely ever mention it, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. She is also the first African American female character on a regular animated television series. She's played by Rosario Dawson in the live action movie. I just have to bring that up just so I could have the excuse to look up her pictures and post them here. I have a crush on Rosario Dawson. We have Melody. She's the band's drummer. She's a blonde and you can pretty much know what to expect from that. Yes, she's ditzy and clueless about what the heck is going on around them, especially when they're in danger. An added quirk to her is that she senses danger, but that was like 5 episodes before the show ended. Her ears wiggle when there's danger. She's played by Tara Reid in the live action movie. I also wanted to bring that up because back then Tara was a big crush of mine. Then we've got Alexander. He's the band's manager and often gets them gigs around the world. He's also a coward, scaring very easily and always trying to get away from the group when they get caught up in trouble. Despite his cowardly nature, he is a great strategist, but then again, his plans always involve him being excluded from risky stuff or even from doing anything at all, until the rest of the group pulls him into it. He also dresses fancy and has his cool sunglasses that they look kind of upside down, but they're actually not. He's Alexandra's brother. We have Alan. He's another blonde, but he's not challenged like Melody. He's a pretty average intelligence guy and is very brave. He shows concern for everyone when they're in their adventures, and his arms are always highlighted. He has really big arms. He's the group's roadie. I had to look up what that means. It means that he just sets up their equipment and space when they have to perform or practice. He's also in love with Josie, and she feels the same way. Alexandra is in love with him too and tries to get in the way, leading to disastrous results. Next up, Alexandra. She's the mean-spirited, bitter, and envious troublemaker of the group. She is kind of just there along for the ride since her brother is the manager, I guess. Her antics are what usually land the group in trouble or makes the trouble the group is in even worse than it already was. She's the closest to the group's mascot, Sebastian the cat. Despite all those things about her, she saves the group multiple times throughout the show, even in one episode. She is brave and headstrong, not letting anyone intimidate her into silence. She's the complete opposite of her brother in that respect. She is also resourceful and forward-thinking. She may not be as intelligent as Valerie, but if anyone could take Valerie's place as the brains, it would be Alexandra. Finally, we have Sebastian the cat. He's the team's mascot since they're called Josie and the Pussycats. So, it makes sense this way, you know. Yeah, he's a snickering cat who does lend a hand a lot of the time. He understands human languages and can play charades with the band in order to convey important information to them about what's going on. He's always around Alexandra. She seems to be his owner. He's also her partner in crime and assists her in her schemes to win Alan over. It never works out because, well, he enjoys the chaos that ensues when she tries. So, you have heard about the characters. Let's talk about the show now. I was surprised to find out that this show was based on characters that come from comic books. Yeah, that's right. Josie and the Pussycats is from a comic book. You'd figure it was just a cartoon that was meant to be similar to the big hit that was Scooby Doo, but nope. They used the Scooby Doo formula, but the IP was always there. It was a concept made by Dan DeCarlo, who was inspired to make this while on a cruise with his wife after he saw her in a cat costume. Seriously. It was a comic book series published from 1963 to 1982, and since then it has been getting releases irregularly. In the comics, they don't go on gigs around the world, they just stay in their little town and have their adventures there. And they aren't these James Bond like adventures either. It's very different from the show. Alexandra isn't such a clear cut good guy who just happens to be a coward. He is a very sly, conniving, scheming guy who is not above underhanded trickery. He also dates Josie at some point. Josie also dates some other guy as well. I forgot his name. She does eventually date Alan because she loves him most of all, but there are still other guys in her list. And Alexandra is some sort of witch who casts spells when in contact with Sebastian the cat. I didn't find much info on the other band members. I'll start reading their comics though. They seem really interesting. The show was well made for its time, even though the production seemed cheap a lot of the time. The characters used repeated animation, especially when the band was playing music. I mean, yeah, sure, it doesn't add to the story, but it's still the most important thing that they play music. So we do need different animations when they're playing their music. Come on, guys. I like the characters, and I like the fact that every character has a role in the show. Despite the large cast, it is always balanced. Obviously, some take the spotlight more than others, but that's the way large casts go. The one who takes the spotlight is Alexandra. Oddly enough, it's not Josie, but her bitter rival for Alan's affection. Josie is mostly in the background and barely contributes, to be honest, but everyone always thanks her for her band's help. That's show business. The hot redhead saves the day. Could this be why modern Hollywood? Never mind. On my recent viewing of the show, I realized that Melody is actually attractive, and I found myself questioning how I had a crush on Alexandra when I was a kid. I like the whole clueless thing Melody has going on about her. Apparently, in the comics, she is the hot one of the group, and dudes fall insanely in love with her, but she has no idea that it happens. Valerie, it seems, shows attraction towards Alexander, even though I always saw that Alexander and Melody had great chemistry. And lo and behold, upon reading more into it, it seems that in the comics, Alexander likes Josie, but when he fails to get her attention, he gives Melody attention. Man, this is really something. Another thing I notice now, or at least can't get out of my head, is how much Scooby Doo music they used in this show. Seriously, I mean, as a kid I noticed it and was disappointed in them for doing so. Now I kind of get it. Those days were creative days, but also lazy days. The Scooby Doo formula is what was working for the network back then. Heck, the guy who voiced the cowardly Alexander is the same one who voiced Shaggy. Coincidence? I think not. The villains were pretty cool too. I like how they have all these schemes and they're overthrown by a group of untrained teenagers who just want to play music. We have despots, spies, evil scientists, all sorts of bad guys, and they all fail against the band. These guys have something special going on for them. Although they get into trouble, they always save the day and have a great time with their gig. As much as Alexander gets them into these messy situations, he gets the job done well as a manager. He was my favorite character despite being the coward that he was. I don't think I had a least favorite character. I was also sad to find out that the show only had 16 episodes. It felt like it was more than that when I was a kid. Maybe it's because I didn't pay attention to the episode count. I don't know. The chase music was also nice and made me the band's fan. Seriously. I was like, hey, they actually have some pretty solid music. I should listen to them. But then I remember that they're fictional, so the music in the episodes is all there is. It was a nice show and I wish it went on for longer, but I am content with what I have. At least I managed to relive that part of my childhood. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Because, you know, when I was a kid, I felt incomplete but appreciated it the same as now. Life plays funny games like that. It's as though it's all part of the grand design. Well, guys, it was nice to talk about the show. Well, mostly compared to the source material, but still, it was nice. That's all we have time for this time around. Be sure to check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and the rest of our channel for more content. Have a good day.